What more really needs to be said? Really? Well, seems it's to review a whole lot. Am I going to do the 2K NBA pay to win bollocks? Oh, I could very easily. And we probably will in the future, as you know. Still not fixed it. Everybody's still complaining about it. You still not fixed it. You've got till November. You better fix it in a month or oh boy, is everybody going to tear you apart. But we're not here to talk about Star Wars Battlefront and the Star Cards. Just a reminder to Disney or whoever the fuck owns Star Wars. Still not fixed it. You better fix it. But while I could very easily do the whole 2K thing again, it's not as generic as 2K. But first, it's time for a rundown of what the bros called Warner did and all the bullshit they played at during all of its promotional material on the way to the game's launch. First and foremost, carving out main campaign content for Day 1 DLC in the forms of their Silver and Gold editions. The $60 one is nothing more than a mere shell, a hors d'oeuvre. Want the true game? £80 please. That's $110 to your all in the US of A. With us passing it over to Jim to tell us what has been scooped out of the game to give you the mere shell unless you stump up the green.
And we get to Shadow of War, the gold standard for the Gold Edition explosion. Base game $59.99, Silver Edition $79.99, Gold Edition $99.99. The Silver and Gold Editions contain not insignificant content upgrades, especially Shadow of War, which has hidden 2 major enemy tribes and extensive story missions behind these paywalls. The message to the customer is simple and clear. $59.99 gets you access, but $100 or so gets you the experience.
Even though they're crying how making games is really expensive, so we need to carve up content for our Gold Edition, they're taking sponsorships from Tostinos. Taste that pizza roll flavour, and by buying select Tostinos boxes, you can get codes for prizes like loot boxes, legendary orcs and more, while enjoying that pizza-tastic flavour of Tostinos. Now in the brand new ham and pineapple Hawaiian flavour. Tostinos, nice and pizza rolly or whatever, because we don't have them here in England. The most fucked up thing I have ever seen in a fucking video game. What the fuck is wrong with you, Warner Brothers? You fucking monsters that are fucked in the head. So, one of the creators died of that shit disease, cancer. Not that nice really, so some of the team wanted to honour their fallen comrade by putting him into the game. Forthog the Orc Slayer was an orc in the likeness of their fallen member, who worked like the mysterious stranger in the Fallout series, where if you got into a tough spot, Forthog could randomly appear and destroy any orc no matter how strong, even the legendary one-shot kill ones, as Forthog, like his ethereal counterpart, has been freed from his mortal coil and is now an immortal ghost. And you can't kill a ghost even if you are a legendary orc. A nice idea. WBBO decided, however, that it would not be free and you had to essentially buy the dead man that died of fucking cancer. And despite their statement of, the money will go to the family, a closer inspection of the fine print shows that only in certain states, if you are not in those certain states or not in America at all, WB gets all of the money, essentially profiting off a dead man that died of cancer.
In this case, though, what has happened is that Warner Brothers has said, we are going to give $3.50 of every Forthog Orc Slayer purchase, and bear in mind this DLC costs $5 to the family. Now, the fact that they're not giving all of it, I can forgive that. Okay. Alright. You're still profiting from the death of a developer, and that's way beyond the processing fees here. You know, it doesn't cost $1.50 to process a $5 transaction. That's absolutely false. You're profiting, but at least the lion's share is going to the family, right? So I can forgive it. Except, right in the fine print, right at the end of the announcement video, there is a little exception. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now and zoom it in, because you would be forgiven for missing this, like almost every media outlet did. If you read right down the bottom there, you will clearly see the exception, and it's a big one. Donations will be made on purchases from any one of the 50 US or District of Columbia, but excluding purchases made from the following states: Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, and South Carolina. Void where prohibited by law. Your purchase is not tax deductible. Now, it makes sense for the purchase not to be tax deductible. It's not a purely charitable donation. You're buying a product, so not the same thing. However, this is extremely important. Not only do not all of the donations that come from the United States go to the family, but the purchase of the DLC outside of the US results in $0 going to the family, and all of them going to the publisher. This is not mentioned anywhere else. This is a tiny little footnote at the bottom of a trailer that is deliberately designed to be hidden right below a much, much larger thing that says Warner Brothers Games will donate $3.50 of every Fort Hog Orc Slayer purchase to the Forgy family through December 31st, 2019. Now you might think, well, Total Biscuit, that doesn't say that your donation wouldn't count if it's outside the US. Well, yes, but that's what it means, and also the official Shadow of War Twitter account confirmed this. So does that mean my purchase of the DLC through Steam from Canada won't count towards donations to the Forgy family? Shadow of War Twitter replies, you are right about that, but you can also help by spreading the word. Thanks for your support. To put an icing on the cake, you can pre-order the DLC memorializing a dead man. Because of course you can. Oh dear. Well, all I can say is I wasn't getting review copies from WB Games in the first place. I'm certainly not going to be getting them from them now. I think you can see what the problem is here. They have disclosed the information that your donation will not count unless you live in the US in certain specific states in the least obvious way possible. It's in tiny print at the end of the trailer, which most people will not see. It is mentioned in the YouTube description, which nobody will read. And it is mentioned on the Steam page. However, as I mentioned, the wording is not clear and specific. It does not explicitly say what we now know to be true, that if you are outside of the United States, no money from your purchase will go to the family.
Luckily, TB spotted and pointed this out, and it got a big enough backlash that WB was forced to have some fucking morality and begrudgingly made him free day one DLC. Thanks, you heartless fucking monsters. Pre-ordering the game, as this stupid Grey Pegasus did. Why the fuck did you pre-order it when they have an endless supply of the thing? But pre-ordering the game got you a distinct advantage of 3 relatively strong orcs from the start, no strings attached. Shelob is not a spider. The game boasts teaming up with her, and she was just a sexy evil lady, because of fucking course she is. We would not want you to make a deal with a giant spider, or see giant spider gods running around the battlefield. No, we must have a form that appeals to you. And when I say you, I mean the focus-tested 12-year-olds that need to jerk their dicks off to a fit fucking girl, mate. Creating an instant disqualification for no other reason than give us more money, Shadow of War, a predominantly single-player game, has gambling boxes that contain legendary orcs, XP boosts, and other things that will help you with the true ending, basically saying pay up or be prepared to suffer, which is basically saying their game is not worth playing, just pay to skip most of the content as it has no real value, but more on that in the main part of the review. Once again, more of that in the main part of the review. All we need to know right now is the final mission is near impossible unless you pay up the green.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
Oh yes, just as I was going to the Steam store page to get ready to buy it and all the other fun stuff, there it is, in blazing orange letters. Third-party agreement in the form of de novo. The thing that pissed everyone off due to how Sonic Team tricked everyone into not being able to get a refund due to the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 thing, then getting de novo after the fact. A move that brought de novo, who had been in other games but not really noticed, into a far more noticeable spotlight. You would think after that controversy, and now the even more controversial move that de novo is going to be in Sonic Forces, WBbo would have kept their head down on the DRM matter. But, nope, got to have the full scummy package. And with this, we move into a brand new section, as here at this channel, mainly myself, is pleased to announce that this channel and Inspiration will now always have DRM on each video. So I'm proud to announce that, like the Gymquisition, Inspiration now has corporate sponsorship. No, it's not with Kellogg's and the Cornflakes Homunculus, but please give a warm welcome to de novo, the DRM Wolf. We still have a review to do, so feel free to pause the video for the small details. As of right now, she is just here to say hi, but once Sonic Forces rolls around in 2 weeks or so, at the beginning of November, de novo will have her first full-time appearance. With her backstory, of course. So, that's all the scummy, shitty things that they did during its promotion leading up to the release. Let's see what they did right. Oh. Well, that was quick. So, with that, let's deal with Shadow of Mordor.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
This is by far the best part of the game. Like, it looks like Lord of the Rings. You know, it's Middle-earth and Tolkien and the others left you a map. Like, you really couldn't fuck it up. You just had to copy the map as shown on paper. And I mean, I know it's not exactly the map of Middle-earth, they added their own locations, but you get what I'm saying, and they did it to a very nice degree, so it looks like Lord of the Rings and does feel like you're walking around Middle-earth. Same with the music, we have the grand like tunes for the epic moments and the fight scenes, and then the more quieter and mellowed out tunes when you're just walking around the countryside. So it's a really nice spectacle. It all looks and sounds like Lord of the Rings. It's all very nice. But that's where it ends, due to all of the scummy shit WB pulled.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
Well, oh geez, Rick, I don't know. Like, I mean, is there even any point due to the fucking loot box system? Yeah, so the game works much like Shadow of Mordor, where the orcs can be dominated, and if you kill one or think you killed one but you really didn't, they can come back seeking revenge, or vice versa. If they kill you, you can go out looking for revenge, with them ranging from normal to legendary rank. And It's fun. Like, this is a problem. The game is fun when you are fighting the orcs, when you are engaged in bitter rivalries. But as said, you can just get them out of boxes. Like, as the corporate mouthpiece says, you can go out into the world looking for the good orcs, but
all the gold does is unlock stuff immediately rather than later, simpers WB's propagandists. Yeah? So what you're saying is it's more valuable to not play the game you just spent $60 on. That's what you're saying. No, that's actually what you're bloody saying, matey boy. Consider this. If you're paying to skip stuff, it implies the stuff isn't worth playing. And if it isn't worth playing, why is it in the game to begin with? In fact, by adding an explicit value to the time saved, you're suggesting the time spent is worth less than nothing. The time spent playing the game is worthless. The only reasonable conclusion is that the grinding exists solely to support microtransactions, which is like me coming to your house, smashing all your windows, and then selling you some glass. Invent a problem, sell a solution. I suppose it's easier than making money the honest way.
Yeah, and considering how hard it is to find, beat and dominate a legendary orc, it's not worth your time at all. Like, even our Grey Pegasus we mentioned earlier has had to have his little round pen-covered ass saved by Forthog the Orc Slayer because a legendary orc was about to push his shit right in. And it's just, like, shows that it's not worth your time at all. You can just pay to skip most of the game because most of the game has been broken apart just for your shit microtransactions. Now, for the moment, take what I'm saying at face value. Just take what I'm saying at face value, as there is a whole market and loot box system and that final story mission for the true ending that we are moving into. But basically, the time and effort spent trying to dominate a legendary orc is not worth it. Seems you can just buy them, as well as the XP boost and the other pay-to-win elements.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
Again, much like the orcs, it's not really worth talking about all that much. It's an open world hacky slashy adventure game like Skyrim. You run around the world, kill orcs, try and get them on your side, attack fortresses. You can do what Tear of Grace did and look through this thing to find other orcs and that kind of stuff. You know, Shadow of Mordor, really. I was going to say Shadow of Mordor. No, this is Shadow of Mordor. The other one was Shadow of Mordor. But it is pretty much Shadow of Mordor. However, again, the pay to win breaks this, as buying XP boosts, more loot chests, bundles, and of course orcs is just one of the things that breaks it. Oh, but it doesn't really break it. It can all be obtained in game. Yes, you're right, but like any fee-to-pay game, there are two currencies. Mirian, the bullshit one you are going to get 1 million of in the game, and gold. The real one you get tiny drip feeds of, but really you're not getting anywhere unless you buy some gold to get the truly good stuff. Again, take all this at face value, as these two things are getting their own sections momentarily, but it all results in a game being not worth playing, as the infamous climax of the game and the equally infamous true ending puts your mental fortitude to the test far more than any $110 game should. So let's dive into all of that fucking bollocks that ruins Shadow of War, especially the true ending mission.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
Hey there, other John. I hope you're enjoying the game. It's me, Corporate Commander. You remember me? Well, I noticed that you hit pause, so I wanted to take this time to show you our handy dandy market. I've highlighted it here for you. Just wanted to let you know it's over here.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, well, just wanted to let you know. Oh, hey, look, there's an online mode where you can buy orcs.
I'm not interested.
Well, you can check the Featured Friday to see what item has been selected for the Featured Friday deal.
No, thank you.
Oh, hey, look at that, it's an expansion pass. Continue your story in the War from Mordor with new fucking tribes and store missions and all sorts of good shit right here.
Once again, I am not interested. Please leave me alone.
W-Play newsletter. Look, all you gotta do is sign up for it, and you gotta, well, you do gotta agree to some legal things. Did you agree to the legal things? But if you did, once you get that out of the way, you get news about purchasing some more things in the game. Oh, and you get a plus 3% experience boost. Make sure you sign up. Did you sign up? Did you sign the agreement?
Yeah, the agreement, I signed the fucking agreement. I just wanted to play the game.
Destroy your war chest. Get your war chest. Every war chest guarantees a legendary limited time offer. Get your war chest here. You want a war chest? Get your war. You want a war chest, sir? Get your war chest. War chest right here. Go ahead and click on it. Limited time offer.
Get the fuck out of here.
Did I ever tell you about our silver, gold, and mithril editions? Well, let me tell you those about that. First, the mithril edition sold out real quick. You won't get some more, though. We got the statues.
Yeah, it's front and bloody centre every time you press the fucking pause button. And, you know, the market button, it's little and it wouldn't have made too much of an issue, but then they have all those little shitty advertisements constantly flashing at you, constantly tempting and luring you to buy boxes, XP boosts, the fucking subscribe to the newsletter, and all that other constant trash. It's annoying, it breaks the game when you actually purchase them, and it's an absolute eyesore that detriments the game overall. And it's all because Warner Brothers couldn't settle for some of the money. They had to have all of the money and even more. And you know, we already joked about Denuvo being one of our mascots. Let's bring in the money-grubbing orc that's rubbing his hands, this one. Because this might as well be the other corporate mascot. Because don't worry, Mr. Rubbing His Hands Orc, it ain't going to be the last time we see him, because there's a couple of others lined up that also pull all of Shadow of War's stupid, scummy, greedy bullshit. So, as the orc is saying, rubbing his hands, ooh, rub my hands for the money. Give me all your money. I need some money, which leads us nice and tidily into our next section, which is also about giving me the green.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
So, are you ready to have that sweet, sweet green? Leave your real life wallets and go into Warner Brothers pockets as, buy our loot boxes. Get your legendary war boxes, your gold war boxes, free legendary guaranteed in every box. You gotta buy the boxes. And it is so, again, it's kind of like take it at face value thing, but we're getting there. You know what's coming next. It's the next section. But for a minute, let's take a brief, quick look at Paladins, as it's the perfect example of loot boxes done right compared to what Shadow of War is doing. You see, it's the only example of loot boxes done right, as here is the Halloween event. It's up right now, and you can get these cool skins like Witch Eevee here and Woody Maldamba. They're fucking cool. And like Overwatch, they're in a Halloween chest. However, notice something about the chest? The normal, everyday box that is susceptible to the normal rules of a loot box, like the gambling and duplicates and everything, is over here. And the Halloween loot box is here with 12 out of 12, as the Halloween loot box is not like a normal one. It only has Halloween stuff in it, nothing else. And every time you get a Halloween item, it clears the pool, which is what people want. They just want to get the box, get the Halloween items, and then they're gone to get more Halloween items. But of course, that's one game. And Shadow of War wants to follow the majority rather than the minority. And so we have the full-on gambling box system with the chance of duplicates, useless little things you don't want. And let's face it, the prize you're going to be going for is the legendary orcs and such, and the XP boost, as you will need it for the biggest failure of the game. Which I'm sure you know what it is. Let's go look at it.
It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
So we all saw the post-launch reviews from sites like Polygon or Game FAQs or GameSpot or whatever, and they were all pretty much saying the same thing, what you're seeing on screen and these things.
So over on Polygon, we have when you run out of in-game money, you have two choices. Make a huge time investment by hunting down orcs in your game world and earning chests via vendetta missions, or spend some real money to get the more powerful orcs you need now. Does the game ever force you to spend money? No, I'm sure you can get to the end of Shadow Wars, that's the final chapter with the true ending, without spending a dime, as long as you're patient and persistent. But locking progress through this mode, and again toward the game's true ending, behind either spending more money or doing tons of tedious busy work, feels at least greedy if not predatory. GameSpot says pretty much the same, talking about the final act, says that you've got to go through these 20 or more siege battles, and you're going to need really powerful orcs to do it. The most telling line there is more than once I felt like giving up on this quest, thinking I'd stumbled onto some optional side content that was clearly only made for obsessed completionists, but enduring on, I found that finishing every stage unlocks the final cutscene and credits. It did not feel worth it. A Games Radar article on how to get yourself epic and legendary orcs pretty much makes mention of the fact that loot boxes are the only reliable way to do it. You can try dominating some orcs to get some legendaries. You can also try dying and hoping that through a series of things that you have no control over, the orc that killed you does turn out to be one that's suitably powerful and desirable. Basically, in-game it's up to nothing but luck as to whether you can get an epic or legendary, and it sounds grindy as heck, but as with many modern video games now, you can just spend real-world cash on top of the cash you've already spent on one of 3 different versions of this game to get that guarantee. Bringing up the rear, you've got Waypoint, with its headline Shadow of War and Forza 7 are poisoning the concept of loot boxes, which mostly just backs up what the others have said.
Now, it's hard to believe them from some things we've seen. You know, we've had IGN giving Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire a 6 out of 10 because it had too much water. What a fucking joke. And we saw the obviously infamous Cuphead tutorial where the guy couldn't beat the tutorial, his 15 minutes of shame. So are these reviews legit? Is it really that much of a grind fest, or are you just over exaggerating because the people that make the reviews for these sites are kind of like not that good at video games? They're about on Spyro's level. So I waited, like I wanted to see everybody's opinions. I obviously got to the 4th chapter myself, but I was like, let's see what everybody has to say. Like, let's wait for Angry Joe, let's wait for Jim Sterling, Total Biscuit, let's wait for every reviewer to see what they had to say when they got there, and let's wait for all of the average people to get there. Everyday people, everyday general non-big YouTubers that just play the games. And yeah, you can see these 2 comments on the screen, and just putting up footage of the reviews for Shadow of War. Oh boy, that's a lot of thumbs downs right there, and they just keep going and going and going. There is a couple of fun ones that I do highlight, like one you'll see is like, man, I missed the part where Gandalf and crew rocked up to a casino and bet fat stacks on the slot machine because of the loot boxes and how they break the final story, ha 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 ha. But yeah, it's true. It is actually 100% true that to get the final ending for Chapter 4, to get that true ending, the grind is nearly impossible. The grind is so impossible that you will get very bored very quickly, you will get very worn out, very fatigued, very irritated very quickly, and you'll be broken. Like, as Jim pointed out with this guy, yeah, it will do that to you. It will get you to the point where you would rather just pay. You can't be arsed with it, and you would rather just give up and pay the money to see the true ending, which isn't all that good. It's actually kind of shit. Like, spoilers, here's your spoiler. You're gonna go through that 100-hour grind to see Talion become a ring wraith. No, that's it. That's it. That's all the true ending is. Like, it's not worth it. It's completely not worth it. Like, oh, okay, he became a ring wraith. Man, that was worth hundreds and hundreds of hours of grind, or, you know, spending like $50, $60, $70,000 on loot boxes to get the legendary orcs. Because when you get to that final mission, the legendary orcs are just going to steamroll all your troops. Like, to get through the fortresses, you're going to have to go up against high level orcs, and unless you've basically dominated every legendary orc in the game, you're gonna get steamrolled, you're gonna get flattened, and it's gonna be like the biggest grind you have ever seen, and it completely and totally breaks the game. It just like ruins the game outright for absolutely everybody, and it's just not worth playing. Just play Shadow of Mordor. Speaking of which,
it's the green, it's the green, it's the green you need. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen.
So, my final verdict for Shadow of War is a pretty worthless 2 out of 5. Aside from looking nice, like looking like Mordor or Middle-earth and sounding pretty nice, everything was homogenized and just twisted and broken for, well, pretty much everything. Like, we have the loot box system to break the final true ending chapter where it's a 100-hour grind unless you buy the boxes. We have the XP boosts, again, if you don't want to grind and do the homogeneous grind, oh, you can speed it up with some XP boosts for extra cash. We have the fantastic and interesting idea of being teamed up with Shelob, again homogenized and no longer the real Shelob as in the spider, but a generic human lady. We had the Tostinos fucking sponsorship because games are so expensive. Day 1 DLC, silver, gold and mithril editions, content carved out of the game, the whole thing with Forthog the Orc Slayer and like trying to charge money for him, which was ridiculous. Everything that AAA could have done to this game got done to this game. So in the end, what could have been a really successful, really amazing sequel to Shadow of War just kind of got homogenized and watered down to this bland, mediocre swill of buy boxes, and you might as well play Shadow of Mordor, because that's what it is. Like, aside from the story, which again, the true ending isn't worth it, it's just Talion becoming a ring wraith. Like, aside from the story, it's Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of Mordor is the far better experience, and I can't recommend Shadow of War. There's nothing about it that I could recommend. I just say, just play Shadow of War. It's got none of this AAA bullshit, and it's pretty much the same game of dominating the orcs and taking the fortresses and everything. It's the same game. It's the same game, but better. So just play Shadow of Mordor. But are we done bashing AAA? Oh no, because we've got 2 other games coming out this week. I've already got the review written for one, and trust me, it's pretty much like this one. AAA, silver and gold editions, check. Day 1 DLC, check. De Novo, check. They're all there. So we've got 2 other games to cover, which is just going to be able to be run through. And let's face it, we're just running through those 2 games and not giving a shit about the AAA shitty, scummy developer tactics. Because in 5 days, Odyssey, you see.
Here we go, all the rails.